Stadium stocks on tap first here for NASCAR action at Bowman Stadium in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Let's get you right to the starting lineup for this 15-lap feature here tonight. On the point for this one, leading the field to the green flag, Rookie of the Year last year in the division. Out of Mocksville, North Carolina, the number 44 of Blaze Sanders. And to his outside, Michael Cates out of Tobaccoville, North Carolina. They banged up number 83.
And rolling off in that second row from Tobaccoville, North Carolina is the 51 of Andrew Cates. And to his outside from East Bend, North Carolina, the 26 of Ricky Wall.
Another rookie from one season ago, the 36 of Austin Long out of High Point, North Carolina is fifth. To his outside, Drew Mason out of Hickory, North Carolina in the 67.
And in row 4 from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, he was a winner last week in the feature event number 2, Brandon Brindle in the 43. And to the outside, for the number 46, it's Colton Brown.
Rounding out the top 10, the 27 out of Tobaccoville, North Carolina, Austin Cates in the Boyles Automotive Machine, and 35-time winner here in the stadium stocks, the 81 of Chuck Wall out of Lexington, North Carolina.
And rolling off 11 from Winston-Salem, the number 18 of Billy Andrews. And to that outside from Advance, North Carolina, the number 80 of Luke Smith.
Final row as we get the one to go before we go green. 7-time winner in this particular division, the 47 of Tyler McDonald, and the 16 out of Lexington, North Carolina, Blaine Curry. By the way, interesting story on that car right there. Wrecked last week did Michael Cates. They put that car back together to straighten out the frame. They actually tied a chain to a cedar tree and backed it up. It was 4 inches off. They got it back, and he's in the starting field here today, starting at the back of the field. We are green here tonight. Blaze Sanders going to be able to take the top spot, at least going into turn number 1. But here comes Austin Long, a battle between a pair of rookie contenders last year here at Bowman Gray.
Really took advantage there, but slid up into that outside lane now in turns 3 and 4. And looking to the inside, we're going to see that 36 of Austin Long take advantage.
Here comes the 43 as well, Brandon Brendel. So good last week here, picking up that victory, as you mentioned, already up to second, going for back-to-back wins in the stadium stocks.
Yeah, and we had 2 feature events for the stadium stocks. They were split features, so right behind him, you'll see that number 81 at Chuck Wall, who was the other winner in the other feature event, and they could be in contention right now for who's going to take the win on this first feature tonight.
By the way, the 44 of Blaze Sanders, who started on the point, that's going to bring out the caution as he comes to a slower pace in turn number 4. Slowed going down the backstretch, so maybe something in the drivetrain for that number 44 going awry here early in this one in the stadium stocks first feature.
Almost looked like on that back straightaway a little bit of smoke was coming out of that 44, so hopefully not anything too major. I know that they are hoping to have a better season this year. Of course, like you mentioned, they got the Rookie of the Year last year, but the momentum, once you win that, it's like, all right, what are we doing now? Now time for a championship, right?
A Blaze Sanders, son of A.J. Sanders, who's the kingpin of these mini-stock type cars around the Carolinas. By the way, this car actually went to Victory Lane earlier this year at Ace Speedway. So it had been a winner already this year. Now A.J.'s son, Blaze, piloting this one full-time again here at the Madhouse this season. Bad break for him early in this one, just 4 laps into this 15-lap race, and leading Austin Long, trying to pick up his first career win in this division here after his rookie campaign last year. Second place, the number 43 of Brandon Brendel. Good-looking, plain white race car with that Richard Petty number 43 on the side of that car. We're coming back to the green, and by the way, Chuck Wall, who scored the big win just 1 week ago here in the number 81 as well, with the twin features in third, coming back to the green.
Going to get a little bit of a jump there, though, in that restart, and a little bit of a gap between the two of them, but we got a battle further back here for the 4th place, as we see the number 36 and 43 now closing the gap.
Yeah, you were talking about the number 80 car riding in 4th right now. That is Luke Smith. 1 win to his credit in this particular deal. But here we go, battle for the lead. Here comes Brendel on the inside, making it look easy. A picture-perfect move to the top of the heap here in feature number 1.
Not going to waste any time at that. The 2022 track champion right there. And the win last week. There's one thing racers love, and it is momentum. If you can get a win and continue it on week after week, he's going to pull away a little bit from that number 81 at Chuck Wall. But as I expected, right here, Bob, you can see him pulling away from the field.
To the top of the heap in this particular division, 1 and 2 right now, halfway through Stadium Stock feature number 1. But Brendel looks like he's got some good mojo underneath that hood, starting to pull away from Chuck Wall. And that is a feat in itself, because we know how good Chuck Wall is in that Little Donuts number 81 machine.
You got to throw in the Little Donuts. As we look right here, we're going to see a pass between the number 80 of Luke Smith and the number 47 right behind him. He's going to kind of tail him, Tyler McDonald. And let's see who's to that outside. I love that camera angle right there. Oh!
Right there, the 47 of McDonald gets into the 80 of Luke Smith, rides him up the racetrack. McDonald coming in a hurry with 4 laps to go in this one. And now we continue side by side here at the latter part of the top 5. You take a look at the number 16 machine, trying the inside right now to pick up another spot. Plain Curry gets to that spot. Yellow flag does come out. Looks like the 46 of Colton Brown out of Ellerby, North Carolina, will bring out the caution. But check out that contact there. That's good old Bowman Gray Stadium madhouse racing right there by the number 47 of McDonald.
Really just leaning in whenever you can, right? Taking advantage. The number 80 of Luke Smith, probably glad to see that yellow come out just to stop the bleeding a little bit. He was hung out on the outside, but could be having a little bit of a handling issues. It seemed like that car was not where he wanted it to be.
When you come to Bowman Gray Stadium, it's like you go back in time. I love it. You have thousands of fans that come out here each and every week to see good old-fashioned racing on a flat quarter mile around a football field. And because of that, through the years, there's certain traditions that they keep. And one of them is certainly the scoring. They do it by hand in the tower. Right now, we're 13 laps into this one, but occasionally you'll see the ticker on the top of the screen. It's highly unofficial, but by our vantage point, we're going to show you who's running in the top 5 from time to time throughout the night. It'll be a green-white checker restart here next time we go green. It looks like we're still about at least another 2 laps from going back to green here. Brendel, though, so good last week. So was Wall. Who gets the victory here? That 43 looks stout.
I think as we see this restart, we're going to see how aggressive they want to be, right? And we're only talking about round 2 of the Bowman Gray Stadium, but for many of these drivers, the weekend wins get them to the next week, and their sponsors want to see them do well here underneath these lights and all these race fans. And you talked about how the history here at Bowman Gray is so special, and it really is the history and the people for me. You get to look around this stadium, and it's one of the most beautiful views that I've had whenever I've been traveling to these racetracks. And you really admire race fans and their dedication. They come in hours ahead of time, set the towels down, and tape them onto the grandstands, whether they're supposed to or not, Bob. But they're trying to save that seat for this place and for this show. And as we say this, we've got the 1 to go signal from the flagman down below.
It's all about family. You see those families in the pit area. You see the families in the grandstands. Generation of racing fans coming out each and every week to Bowman Gray Stadium, and that's what makes this place very special. All right, the number 43 of Brendel will lead Chuck Wall back to the stripe. It'll be a green-white checker finish to decide the first feature of the night here at the Madhouse. Brendel able to grab that lead. A lot of talk about the engine underneath that hood there. They said a lot of bucks go into that engine, high horsepower. I don't know. You know how racers talk. But Brendel certainly making it look easy in this one. Chuck Wall trying to close in, but can't do it, especially off the corner. That's where the 43 caps him just a little bit.
Yeah, Chuck Wall definitely has more speed entering into the corner when that 43 seems to wash up about mid-corner, but again, that straightaway speed, there's no one that can catch him. That number 43 is going to continue to push ahead. And looking down, here we go. One last corner.
Brandon Brendel will pick up his second win of the season. He goes back-to-back to start the season in the stadium stocks at Bowman Stadium. And he's a happy camper coming off of turn number 2. Just launching that car sideways. Chuck Wall is in second. Tyler McDonald winds up in the 3rd spot. The 80 of Luke Smith is 4th. And the 36 car, who was up front early, last year's rookie contender, Austin Long, in that 36, rounds out the top 5 by our vantage point here in the tower at Bowman Gray Stadium. So Brendel gets the job done. Is that Casper or the White Knight or whatever it may be? A lot of conversation with Skip Flores in the modified class with his car. But here's another, just plain white car with the Richard Petty 43 on the side.
Gotta love that 43. And Brandon Brendel taking home the win tonight, grabs his 32nd win, which keeps him the 5th highest in the division for the most win and closer to Charlie Curry.
It's all about the stats. And let me tell you something. Not only do the drivers and teams keep track of the stats, but so do the fans here. It means a lot to win at the Madhouse. And opening back-to-back, that's impressive as well when you're going after a championship. And that's what Brandon Brendel is trying to do here. He flirted around a little bit with the Sportsman class last year, but making a full-on onslaught this year back here in the stadium stock division, and his fans, his family, and his team excited as he climbs out. Let's go trackside.
Tell them who your favorite football team is.
The New Orleans Saints.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about. 2 wins. Oh, man, Brandon, you hear that? We'll get them back happy in a minute. 2 weeks in a row, you're back in the Q104.1 Stadium Stock Division. 2 races, 2 wins. Tell us about your night.
Man, I can't thank Todd enough. There's no privilege of this thing. I'm excited to be back.
Like, who all you want to thank real quick, buddy?
Man, I want to thank Justin and Sean, Brandon Krotz, Todd Barnhart right here for everything. And my beautiful lady somewhere, she puts up with all this mess.
Good job. Way to go, man.
Thank you.
One race down and still plenty to go here for NASCAR racing action at Bowman Gray Stadium. Next up, the first of the Twin 20-lap Sportsman events for the night. And let's get right to the starting lineup for this one. Leading the field to the green will be the number 51 out of King, North Carolina. He is a winner in this division in the past. Finished 7th last week. It's Austin Taylor. And his outside, Sterling Plemons, 4 wins to his credit in this division. They call him the rock star. He's out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
And in that row 2 from Lexington, North Carolina, in that 55, it's Zach Orr. And to the outside from Elkin, North Carolina, the 01 of Marty Willman.
On the inside of row number 3, the 15 out of Lexington, North Carolina, in the Shitty Coolers car, it's T. Dawson. To his outside, starting 6th, the 38 of Mitch Gales, a 6-time winner in the Sportsman class out of Thomasville, North Carolina.
And in that row 4, it's the Tiger. It's from Roll Hall, North Carolina, the number 21 of Tommy Neal. And to the outside in the Jerry Hunt Super Centers 23, it's Ryan Robertson.
Hey, you gotta love nicknames. This next one of the best in the business at Bowman Gray. Donkey Strong, number 12. Justin Taylor, a 9-time winner in this division. To his outside rounding out the top 10, the 97 of Justin Cummings out of Winston-Salem.
And rolling off in that 6th row, the number 28 of Billy Gregg. And to the outside of him, the number 7 from Louisville, North Carolina, it's Connor Branch.
Starting lucky number 13, the dog, Kyler Kepley out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, in the number 8. And then Chase Robertson went back-to-back last week in opening event wins in the Sportsman class. He's out of Walburg, North Carolina. Rounding out the field, the 22 of Dylan Ward, a 16-time winner at Bowman Gray Stadium, also out of Walburg, North Carolina. So, 20 laps in this one, plenty of racing action. This is one of my favorite classes here at Bowman Stadium because these guys completely get after it on the gas. They usually maybe shed some sheet metal on the racetrack as well because there's always plenty of bumping and banging. The driver that did so well last week, though, Chase Robertson, champion in this division just 2 years ago, finished second in points last week. One to go until we go green flag here. But Chase Robertson, just 20 years old. I remember the night that he had to go to the prom, but he won the race and still made it to the prom. It was fun here just a couple of years ago.
I love that. Did he race in his tux? I've heard of some doing that.
He went right to the tux, but he definitely had the better suit on that night, the driver's suit. All right, here we go. We got Austin Taylor and Sterling Plemons coming to the green flag off of turn number 4 here at the Madhouse. Oh, contact down there. And the 0-3 of Sterling Plemons goes around. It was one piece of contact that made another contact happen, and it's the 0-3 car of Sterling Plemons. Not going to be happy with that. A second place run here last week for Plemons. Very fast race car, new machine for Plemons here this year at Bowman Stadium, but trouble in the opening corner for Plemons. What did you see, Jacqueline?
Definitely, we're going to see a replay here. As we'll see in this restart right there, looks like the 51 didn't get a great run off. The 03 had a run on the outside, but then, of course, Austin Taylor, he's going to take advantage of that. Gets into the side of 03 from my perspective. Bob, what do you think?
It was interesting. It was definitely a little bit of contact from one that provoked the contact, I believe, from the other as well, but Plemons is going to have to go to the back of the field in this one. We'll see if we can show it to you one more time here before we go green. We're going to put in a little bit of slow-mo to see what happened. And there is the 51 initially getting into Plemons. So Taylor started it and then just finished it off there. You know, Plemons comes down the racetrack a little bit is probably what Taylor is going to say, but 2 taps and around goes the 0-3.
Yeah, and like that could have been a spotter issue, right? They could have said that they were clear and they weren't clear. It certainly looked like the 03 thought he was. And Sterling Plemons, who got the quick time last week and has worked very hard through the offseason to put these cars together, as have the other competitors out here on the field. But, you know, that 03 did have a little bit of damage there, Bob, and hopefully it doesn't affect him being able to come up through the field tonight. As you can see him now in the back of the pack.
Yeah, but that 51 of Austin Taylor still the lead here, coming back to another green flag to kick off this one here. And Taylor, 7th place just 1 week ago here at this racetrack. That one career win, which we mentioned, came just last year in April, by the way. So just about a 1-year anniversary, the defending winner of week number 2 at the Madhouse.
I went down there and had a chance to talk to that team. Quite the personalities between Austin and Justin. I had a great conversation, but Austin actually had a David Gravel shirt on, and I said, "Hey man, are you a Gravel fan?" He said, "Heck yeah, I grew up loving dirt racing." He really likes 602 late models, being able to watch them on dirt. Hopes to go to the Dome this year, as do I. But really great guy, great family team that works really hard down there. So it was great to get to know them a little bit better. Only 27 years old, Austin Taylor, as he is going to be at the front of this restart next time by.
The Taylor is a fun bunch, for sure. There's the number 12. By the way, you can see we call him Donkey Strong because he's got a donkey on the side of that race car. It's really a cool-looking car, and obviously the fans enjoy it here. He's got his hand out the window, catching a little air, a little bit warmer weather than what I'm used to up on the mountain of Boone, North Carolina. But there's the donkey right there. Good shot of it. Donkey Strong for Justin Taylor, and always hear my brother talk about Donkey Strong all the time. And by the way, he's watching tonight with my nephew Hudson, so a shout-out to them as well.
I love the donkey. He needs to bring a pet donkey out here.
It's a cool
baby donkey. Yeah.
Yes, I think they should. Would that be allowed in the pits?
You know, what isn't allowed here sometimes?
That is true. That is true. But that's what makes it special here. So because of the contact coming back to the green, looks like Zach Orr has that top spot. Zach Orr, he was like a pinball last week in the race, bouncing all over the place and off of other competitors. One time bounced off of turn 4 wall, and because of that, he had a lot of right rear suspension problems on that number 55. But he now is your leader due to what happened on that initial start of this race with the contact between the 51 and the 03.
You can see that 55 wasting no time. Quite the lead now between him and second place. The 2024 champion and also considered as Mr. Consistent, as he tends to come every single week and show out and show up, and he sure is doing that now. Looking at back further in the field, though, we have the 38 and 7 getting into contact just a little bit in the north turn, as the 31 is going to be taking advantage there to make that pass for the top 4.
You knew Connor Branch would be coming to the front of this field, and Chase Robertson as well. To the inside is Chase Robertson side by side here inside the top 5.
Chase Robertson, who's looking for just a better finish and not getting the great start there, having to start at the back of the field. Oh, the number 7 there, just a shot from behind. He's not going to let him have top 3 too easy.
We got an official ruling on why Zach Orr was given the lead on that restart. Apparently 1 lap in the books, and Zach Orr was leading at the time that the caution came out. So those guys got connected down in turn number 1, and then the caution came out. Chase Robertson started way back in 14th. Chase Robertson in the 31, now up to second already, with just now 7 laps complete in this first of the Twin-25's here for the Sportsman class. Robertson on the move.
Now you see right here on the screen, this is your battle for 3rd place. Down to the inside, we have that pink 7 of Connor Branch, who's doing all he can, even getting down on the turtles to try to make that pass, and he does. You'll see right there too, completed, and the 51 now in that 4th place.
Yeah, Connor Branch, good start to the season for him. 4th last week, in the top 5 this week. There is Zach Orr, by the way, another new paint scheme. He says, I like to have a different paint scheme each and every year. We've seen green, blue, now red for him. There's the Tiger Tommy Neal trying to make his way through the pack as well. He's trying to follow Sterling Clemens, who has gained a lot of spots since that restart. 6th is Tommy Neal. Actually, right in front of that 5th, Sterling Clemens. That's 03 on the move after restarting at the rear.
Absolutely, and as you say that, Bob, we just have a caution come out, and right before they threw that yellow flag, the black flag came out for the 77 of Dylan Ward, who just exited the track, and we're going to get the cars stacked back up here. The 55 still leading the way of Zach Orr, followed by Chase Robertson.
This is not what Zach Orr wanted to see. We'll take a quick break here on Flow Racing and come back with the conclusion of this one here at Bowman Gray. Just went green here in this one. Zach Orr leading Chase Robertson. Remember, these two battled toe-to-toe for the championship just 1 year ago. Came right down to the line on the last lap. Orr right now with a miracle of that 31 car, and cars all over the place on the front stretch here. But Chase Robertson trying to get into the back bumper. He does it again down in 3 and 4. Orr trying to keep that bottom lane blocked off.
Chase Robertson all over the back of that 55. He wants the win, and he wants it bad. How hard is he going to be pushing that 55? Into the corner he goes again. A little bit underneath, moves it, but not too much. 55 still leading the way with 5 laps to go.
And it looks like that 55 car maybe just a little bit tight. He's trying to keep it to the bottom, but he doesn't want that car to go up the racetrack, and he's having a difficult time turning it in the center of the corner. Chase Robertson will help him turn it a little bit there with that love tap. Just a few laps to go in this one, and Chase Robertson is all over the 55 of Zach Orr. That's the last two champions in the Sportsman class here at the Madhouse.
The veterans of the Madhouse know it's all about getting hit at the right braking zones. You'll see the 55 has backed up his braking in order to get hit from behind straight so he doesn't get sideways in the center of the corner. Off on the back straightaway, gets a little bit of run, going to do that braking again as the 31 continues to hit him from behind with 3 laps to go.
Really good perspective there, Jacqueline, and that's exactly what Zach Orr is trying to do. He's basically stopping the car almost in the center of the corner to slow down Chase Robertson. Chase Robertson really wrapping that back bumper. 1 to go here as we settle the score in the first of the Twin-25's. Zach Orr's got the lead. Chase Robertson, one more shot in 3 and 4. Does he have enough? Enters a little bit higher, gets into the back bumper of Zach Orr. Orr gonna pick up his first win of 2025 here at the stadium.
Wonderful drive by the 55. Wonderfully skilled, and the 31 really raced him clean and fair. He tried to move him, but he really didn't just clobber him. He continued to do his skills and brake, but he didn't overdo it, and I think that was a fair race right there. The 55 did a great job at hitting his marks lap after lap and not letting Chase Robertson get to his head.
Connor Branch was third in this race. Austin Taylor in the 4th spot. That's what we saw as they drove off the racetrack. But it's Zach Orr picking up the victory here today. And a great job by that 55 machine. Always an immaculately prepared race car for Zach Orr and his team. Always sharp-looking rides. He's out of Lexington, North Carolina. Zach Orr picks up his 22nd win in the NASCAR Sportsman class here, and he was the Division II NASCAR champion in the weekly racing series last year. So Zach Orr, incredible performance here in the Sportsman class.
Yeah, absolutely. Great job by him. You hit on it, the National Division II champion, where he was able to go and accept that at the National NASCAR banquet. But him getting that 22nd career win, which ties him with Barry Edwards for the 16th place and the most wins in the Sportsman division.
Incredible performance. Got that lucky break when the top two on that initial lap got together. He scored the leader at that time and led the rest of the distance here today. So the 55 of Zach Orr picking up the victory today at the Madhouse.
Utility, the sponsor of the Madhouse Scramble. Keep your eyes on the video board. We'll see where he starts. Zach Orr, ladies and gentlemen. Zach, congratulations on another. I'll tell you what, you with Chase finished that one just like you finished last year's points battle. Boy, it was a tight race, but a great race.
Yeah, I have to give a hats off to Chase. He was really clean there. Our car's just still a little bit off, but we'll get there. But I appreciate it running me clean. It's awesome. Last week was rough. We hit the wall, tore the car up, tried to come back. We needed a win tonight.
Well, Chase, this is win number, excuse me, I'm getting it. Zach, this is win number 22 in your Bowman Stadium career. And you're starting, I see from the video board, number 14 in the second race. You know, that's a little further back than probably you would like to start, but it looks like you've got a hustle of a car tonight. I know you'd like to pull off the double.
Yeah, I really would. This one's for Mac, his dad. He's in the hospital. Billy Banks, my engine guy, he's been in the hospital. Pray for both of those guys. I couldn't do it without my sponsors, Pulse Vodka, Cardinal Plumbing come on this year. He's an awesome guy.
So the Madhouse Scramble, because of the twin features, Zach Orr picked 14. He will start 14th in the second of the Twin-25's here tonight at Bowman Stadium. The Mighty Modifieds, the rumble of 600 horsepower coming up next live on Flow Racing. The ground pounders of the NASCAR Modified Division now on the racetrack for another feature event. The first of Twin-25's for the NASCAR mods here tonight. Let's take a look at the starting lineup of this one. The man that won the Hayes Juniors 200 to kick off the season just last week here at Bowman Stadium will be on the point for this one. In the Q1 4.1 machine, that's Brandon Ward out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And the man that finished second will start second, Burt Myers, who's inching closer to career win number 100 here at the stadium.
And if that front row wasn't impressive, look who's starting in that third position from King, North Carolina. It's the 12-time Winston-Salem champion of the 83. It's Tim Brown. And to his outside from Manasquan, New Jersey, it's Ryan Skip Flores in the 79.
Chris Fleming will line up fifth in the number 16 car. He's out of Mount Airy, North Carolina, an 18-time winner here in NASCAR Modified competition. And one win to his credit starts alongside of him. The number 10 out of Tobaccoville, North Carolina, Mike Speeney, who finished fourth last week.
In that row, number 4, we have a family row in that Walnut Cove, North Carolina Advantage Machinery Services, It's the number 4 of Jason Myers. And to that outside from Kernersville, North Carolina in the Ben Gable Enterprises, it's the number 6 of Slate Myers.
Starting ninth, making his 600th career start at Bowman Stadium. That's 10th all time out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. It's the 75 of Lee Jeffries, and his outside, the 44 of the Mighty Mouse. Yeah, Mighty Mouse on that car. Out of Kernersville, North Carolina, it's Daniel Beeson.
Rolling off in that 6th row from Uptown, North Carolina in the Carolina Triad Choice Realty, number 5, it's Randy Butner. And to that outside from Walkertown, North Carolina, it's the real deal, the number 07 of Riley Neal.
On the inside of row number 7, starting 13th out of King, North Carolina, it's Junior Snow in a brightly colored race car this year for Junior Snow. To his outside, the Flying Taco, Danny Probst out of Wingate, North Carolina in the 00.
Rolling off 15th from Mount Airy, North Carolina, it's the 13 of Jordan Fleming. And to the outside from Walnut Cove, North Carolina, the Tobacco Ridge, number 9, Kyle Sutherland.
Starting 17th, a second-generation race car driver, the number 64. He's out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Rookie of the Year competitor, Ethan Truel. And his outside, starting 18th, the 77 of Susan Harwell out of Huntersville, North Carolina.
Starting 19th from Lexington, it's Gerald Robinson. And to the outside, it's the number 99 of Crab Smith.
Brandon Butner, Johnny Murdoch, Jason Southern, and Corey Levette will round out the field. We are coming to the green flag. Brandon Ward, by the way, got the pole earlier today with a time of 13.568 seconds. That's his 6th career pole in the NASCAR mods here at the stadium. These race cars are special machines indeed. For the second time this year, by the grace of God and 600 horsepower, we are NASCAR Modified racing at Bowman Stadium.
Brandon
and as
Ward.
I say that, they didn't like that start. Gonna call it back. Second time, hopefully a little bit better. Need to be a little bit more even coming off of turn number 4. Brandon Ward, Burt Myers, cat and mouse games they have done for years. They bang, and Burt Myers almost into the wall. Brandon Ward with the lead on 1 and 2.
We've got a mess behind there, and they're going to keep it rolling.
Slate Myers comes to a stop down in turn number 2. We're going to have to get a look at that one again. But interesting start between Brandon Ward and Burt Myers, who, remember, a little bump and a tap got Brandon Ward the win last week on Burt Myers. Let's take a look at that replay, because coming to the initial start of this race, watch what happens down in the corner. This is after that. Burt Myers kind of got up close to the wall, might have brushed it, but then Slate Myers gets put up a little bit in the chaos and slammed the turn number 1 wall. Randy Butner in the number 5 car there. Butner, one of the perennial favorites, loves himself some Twin 25 lap races as well. In fact, got his first career win in a Twin 25 lap race years ago. Actually, his 38th season. I believe, of racing here. Now, here's what I want you to look at. Coming off of turn number 4, Ward slams on the gas, kind of gets into the number 1 car, and hard to tell there because of how that wall comes out. Hard to tell if Burt got into the wall, but that really caused the chaos going into turn number 1, and everybody was fighting for turf. Slate Myers, I'm not too happy down there doing the old, I'm going to climb out of my car and wait and maybe point at somebody. We'll have to see if that comes to fruition here down in the corner, because I'm sure he's not happy with somebody. Going to talk to his dad, Burt Myers. That's Corey LeVay. Sorry, identical cars here except for that little bit of one by the other one there. But that good-looking machine for the Myers family racing here. There's Slate. We'll keep an eye on him and see who he's going to maybe shout out or point to. He looks calm, cool, and collected to some degree. We thought it was maybe Mike Speeney, the number 10. And indeed it is. He's not happy with that QRC HVAC and refrigeration machine.
I love how he did the point, the shaking point. It was almost like he was a dad. Like,
Yeah,
no, you're not
I've done
supposed to
that
do
many
that. Oh, the shaking point. You know, I respect it, though. I respect it. And he's so young.
Listen, calm, cool, and collected
Yes.
with Slate there.
Yes.
He got his point across
Yes.
on Mike Speeney. He was in trouble a little bit. Speeney with a little bit of shot in the back end put Slate Myers up into the wall, and that point is infamous in racing, right? Yeah, I've done it to my 5 kids time over time, but I've also done it. I remember my brother running a Legends car at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and he got put in the wall in a transfer spot in the B main, and that kid that came in that Legends car, he got the old Bob Dylan point at him. Yes, we're not going to say what happened after that.
I love it. You know what I find so interesting, though, is we talk about the contact that happened last weekend between Brandon Ward and Burt Myers. Here they are again, side by side, and look what happened other than Brandon Ward getting into the side of Burt Myers that then affected that whole pileup. I wonder what is going through Burt Myers' head right now as he has fallen back on this restart. It looks like he's going to roll off in the... Is that the 6th position?
It is, and I've been trying to look at the lettering on the right side tires of Burt Myers, specifically the right front. And while it appears a little bit diminished compared to the right rear, it's hard to tell whether he rubbed the wall coming off of turn number 4. You see how the right rear has more of the Hoosier, the right front less? Will that be, something to watch for in this race? We'll find out. Green flag back out. Brandon Ward in the Q104.1 Suzuki machine out front. That Jerry Hunt Supercenter Hayes Jewelers number 83 of Tim Brown with 101 career wins at the stadium in second. Tim Brown, I talked to him today, I know you did as well, said, you know what, I had a good machine until I got some damage late in the race and that big pileup in the Hayes Jewelers 200 in turn number 2, and because of that, the toe was thrown off, and he could not go after Brandon Ward or Burt Myers. Well, he's in the catbird seat. If one mistake is made by Brandon Ward, Tim Brown's going to go on the attack.
One thing about Tim Brown is he is a fierce competitor, always looking for an additional edge. Obviously, it has worked out for him because he has the most track championships with 12 underneath his belt. But the practice earlier today that was originally called off, he actually left and went to his kids' baseball team game and went and watched that. So he didn't get additional practice in that 83, but it doesn't seem like he needed it as we look further back here to Burt Myers.
This is interesting right here because Burt Myers in the CitraSafe number 1, and then Mike Speeney, who just kind of did a little love tap to Burt Myers' son. We'll have to keep an eye on that here if they get together, because remember, they have radio communication. And I'm sure that Burt Myers has been told that Speeney got into Slate. So Burt Myers, if he's not fast enough and Speeney wants to get around him, might make it a little bit difficult. And there is the number 83 of Tim Brown. By virtue of this start here today, he moves up to 6th all-time on the starts list at Bowman Stadium with the NASCAR mod. Just incredible through the years for Tim Brown, and that will tie him with Puddin' Swisher.
The 83 gave that Q104.1 mod of Brandon Ward a little bit of shot in the back, but it was on the exit of the corner.
We got, oh boy, look at this. Burt Myers and Speeney, the Myers and Speeney seem to find themselves in this race.
Very
He's got
interesting.
A flat left rear tire on that CitraSafe Pinnacle #1. We'll see what happens here. We got to it as Burt Myers was spinning as we were keeping an eye on Brandon Ward and Tim Brown at the front of this field, but that #1 going to have to go to the pit area to change that left rear tire. Awfully interesting. We were just mentioned. Let's take a look at this, Jacqueline. See what we can see. Speeney to the back bumper of Myers, pushes him up the racetrack, and looks like he gets into that left rear and turns Burt Myers around. So Speeney with contact on son Slate Myers and now Burt Myers. That might be an interesting interaction in the pit area later.
Absolutely. And before we even saw it, Bob, you know, there are no coincidences in short track racing. There are always intentional things and then people thinking about it. So as you mentioned, the spotters were probably communicating, but interesting to see Speeney not only have contact with Slate, but then almost intentionally have contact here with Burt Myers. As maybe we're going to get a sight to the back of the trailer to see if they're changing the tire on that modifier if he exits here, but and there he is.
And think about this, a lot of different things to follow for the second of the Twin-25's here as well, between Speeney and both Myers. But let's take a look at it one more time. Speeney gets into him right there, kind of, sets the #1 off a little bit, pushes him up the racetrack. Speeney thought he had the inside lane, but really not enough real estate there, and gets into Burt Myers again, and that's also what cut down the tire on the left rear. Woo! Interesting scenarios right now here for the drama building on the first of the Twin-25's at the stadium. Coming back to the green, it's Brandon Ward over Tim Brown, Chris Fleming, Jason Myers, and then Skip Flores in the 79. That's the top 5, nice and steady. The top 2 looking pretty good. Behind that, you see Jason Myers starting to put a little pressure in that #4 machine on the 16 of Chris Fleming. Fleming so disappointed with the run last week, the driver of the 16, because he said, you know what, we made a change to that race car. It's not exactly what we should have done. We paid the price for it, but he's back much stronger this week here at the stadium.
Yeah, Chris Fleming, that's somebody that has been here year after year, but still has yet to have a championship underneath his belt. Will this year be the year halfway as we cross the line? And continuing to lead us, Brandon Ward and Tim Brown are going to try to break away from the field a little bit. And Chris Fleming says, I'm right here. I'm going to try to close that gap up and go with you guys.
What I see right now is it looks like Brandon Ward maybe has a little bit of a tight condition. That car not wanting to turn in the center of the corner. That's where Tim Brown is going to have to try to capitalize. Past the halfway point in this one. Brown is there, but not able to go on the attack.
Continuing to try to close that gap the best that he can, but trying to be diligent as we have just 10 laps to go here. Now, even less. Chris Fleming going to look to the back bumper of the 83 and hope to get that P2 spot.
Yeah, Fleming is there, knocking on the door to try to go after that second spot. By the way, just want to tell you, Speeney has moved by Skip Flores. Speeney now in the top 5 by that white car, the 79 of Skip Flores. Up front, we keep our eyes peeled right here. Fleming trying to go after Tim Brown. Fleming knows he's running out of time. A little wrap to the back bumper of the Jerry Hunt Supercenter 83. Now slower cars. Graham Smith in that 99 gets out of the way, but still that apex in the corner going to be a little bit changed for Tim Brown. That allows Brandon Ward to open it up just a little bit.
Exactly what Brandon wants to see here with just a handful of laps left to go this time by. Can Tim Brown make the move and do it fair? As we said earlier, it's still early in the season. These drivers don't necessarily want to rub each other the wrong way, but we're going to look to the back of the pack now as they're all very close together. And you're looking right here, the #1 of Burt Myers trying to make his way up through the field.
And Kyle Southern in that 9 machine, what a great story, honestly, of resilience for him. A home fire battling back, gets that car 9 days before the opener last week, and he's still battling for a good spot. Brandon Ward, Tim Brown, Chris Fleming, the top three in this one. And no changes whatsoever. Jason Myers is in fourth. Little contact between Randy Butner and Junior Snow, but we got a little bit of a pileup in 3 and 4.
Oh, my goodness.
And it's two Myers machines. Jason Myers, who was riding in the top 5, gets collected down in the corner when Burt Myers and Kyle Southern actually stopped on the racetrack. Apparent contact between both of those drivers, and unfortunate circumstances for the second straight week for Jason Myers, a 41-time winner here at Bowman Gray Stadium. Now, because of that contact, a flat right rear tire on the number 4.
Let's go ahead and take a look at that Flow Racing replay and what just happened there between Southern and Myers.
And I believe Myers, an innocent victim of this, because that incident happened way in front of him and he was catching up to it. So he came into this one late. It'll be interesting to see what happened. We take a look at the replay right here, and we'll see it from our speed shot off of turn number 4. Watch, there is Danny Probst going around in the 00, and then it looks like Southern and Myers kind of tangled. And as we keep this going here, you're going to see Jason Myers come into the frame here. Oh my, he got turned going into the corner, maybe some contact from another race car, and slammed into his brother.
Yes, you'll see Burt Myers was trying to back up from being into the side of Kyle Southern, and as he did and Jason Myers came around is when that collision happened there. Unfortunate.
And I just want to clarify, that's not Jason Myers, I believe, driving in there too hard. It appeared by the way that car came into the frame on our Flow Racing cameras that he must have gotten a shot from behind that wound up putting him into his brother. Now, here's what the interesting thing is, and Justin Mincy is thinking the same thing. The car that Jason Myers was racing with was Mike Speeny. Let's take a look one more time. There they slow up just a little bit. Let's see who's behind.
Oh, I see.
Is it Speedy?
Oh.
It is. I would say the way Jason, either he had so much rear brake in that car and he stood on the brakes and spun it out, or Speeny had hit him a little bit, tried to back off, and that's why you saw the gap. But this is Bowman Gray. This is the Madhouse. This is drama like no other. And Speeny possibly, we cannot clarify it, but he was in the vicinity, possibly contact with 3 different Myers drivers in this one.
You know, I just have to say that if it was intentional, where's that bingo card that Speeny has to get all the Myers brothers tonight? Because he absolutely did so.
Hey, we're in the middle of hockey postseason, right? Maybe a hat trick for Mike Speeny here tonight for the 10 car with the Myers family.
Is there a side bet going on that we don't know about?
Ooh, yeah. Maybe buy himself a tire. No, listen, I know Mike is a great guy, okay? And he's won races here, one to go until we go green. I'm sure this is not the night that Speedy wanted, honestly, because they still have one more race to go tonight. Yeah. And paybacks can be difficult here at the Madhouse. So it'll be fun and interesting for us to watch, but I'm sure maybe not for Mike Speedy tonight. All right, here we go. Under 10 to go in this one, 7 laps remaining. Brandon Ward stands on the gas and gets a good restart on this one over Tim Brown.
Wow, he sure did. He's going to be able to lead that charge with the 83 tailing behind him with just 2 laps to go. This time around, he's going to take the white flag.
White lap to go here at Bowman Gray Stadium, just one circuit. Brandon Ward trying to go back-to-back. Tim Brown is there. Doesn't look like he's going to have a shot down in the corner. Chris Fleming in third. Brandon Ward goes back-to-back to open the season at Bowman Gray Stadium. He wins the first of the Twin-25's for the NASCAR mods at the Madhouse on night number 2 of NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Racing here at Bowman Gray.
The 2023 defending champion who won the Hayes Jeweler 200 last week and switched to full body cars in 2010, was a UARA champion in 06, is going to collect another checkered flag, 2 wins in a row for 2025 here at Bowman Gray, the 04 of Brandon Ward.
Brandon Ward picks up his 14th career win Remember, he had 5 wins last year. He's already up to 2 this year. The lights flash in honor of Brandon Ward and that Suzuki Kevin says yes.com Q104.1 machine. Foothills Ford on the side of that race car. Just incredible career. For the first time, he goes back-to-back to open the season at Bowman Gray.
Great drive by that Q104.1 car as he'll come around to the start-finish line to do the victory lane. And his crew is going to make their way over here to celebrate this big win here tonight in Winston-Salem.
Let's go trackside to hear what Brandon Ward has to say.
12, 14, and 16. Courtesy of Elite Underground Utility, this is the Madhouse Scramble Redraw. Brandon taking a moment to get unbuckled. Win number 2. He is 2 for 2 in the 2025 season is Brandon Ward. Keep your eyes on the video board to find out where Brandon Ward will start in race number 2 and how the field will be inverted. Number 16, the worst possible number he could have drawn. Brandon Ward will start 16th in the second 25-lapper. So the first 16 finishers in that race will be inverted for the start of race number 2. Brandon Ward wins for the second time in the 2025 season. Brandon, win number 14 in your Bowman Gray career, but more importantly, you're batting 1,000 so far, 2 for 2. Could you imagine it going any better than this? It couldn't go any better than this, but you had to be thinking about it. It's a great start.
Yeah, I mean, 2 for 2 is really good for this KP Speed Motorsports team. Just can't thank Kevin for all he does for us. Will Spa and all these guys preparing super fast race cars. And Suzuki, Q104, iHeartRadio for all their continued support and all they do for us. As I said earlier, Don and D. Stone, Tim White, Stilo Simpson, Molecule, Kevin Powell's Foothill Ford, Kevin Powell Motorsports, KevinSaysYes.com, Robin Sandblasting, Squeaky Clean Express, all this group that does so much for us. Bill Steen Shocks. Yeah, Bill Steen Shocks, BST, everybody that does so much for us on this deal.
Well, I know you had a rocket behind you that was looking hungry for another win, but you had everything. You had the field covered, it looked like tonight, Brandon.
Yeah, we were a little bit free right there, so we got just a little bit of adjusting to do for the second race. But the longer we went, the better the car kept getting, so that's a positive.
Well, number 16, that's got to be pretty disappointing. But you got
the worst possible scenario for Brandon Ward going into the next Twin-25, the Madhouse Scramble. He selects 16, so he will start 16th in the second 25-lap race of the night for the NASCAR Modifieds. A little quick break here in the action at Bowman Gray Stadium. We'll be coming back with more racing action. Sportsman, second feature coming up here at the Madhouse. Welcome back to Winston-Salem, North Carolina for the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series at Bowman Gray Stadium. Night number 2 on the season. I'm Bob Diller. Alongside of me is Jacqueline Drake. We just saw an interesting modified race, again filled with drama. Mike Speeney, it's going to be fun to watch him in that second feature after all the tangling with the Myers family in the first one.
Yeah, it's one thing when a driver has to sit on contact a week later, right? But in the same night and something like that happening, you know what's going to happen, Bob? They've already all gone back to the trailer right now, and they're reconvening about what they all just experienced and who was around them, and they're comparing notes and repairing those cars to get back out there if there is some damage that was sustained. I'm curious to see if they will get Slate back out there, if it was something more permanent on him. But yeah, it's going to be quite interesting to see just how they drive and race each other in the coming feature event.
Incredible start to the season for this gentleman right here. Brandon Ward goes back-to-back on night 1 and night 2. He'll have to start 16th in that second feature here tonight. By the way, this race car, a lot of success. He won the championship 2 years ago here. Didn't have a win, still won the championship. Last year, 5 wins, didn't get the title, and already 2 wins to open up the season. So that car is pretty sporty.
Yeah, we talked a little bit earlier about momentum and just how important it is for drivers to have that. Momentum is in 2 parts, though. Not only is it with the team and what they have accomplished in the setup and maybe a little bit of a speed secret, but the other half to momentum is what it gives a driver in their confidence level. If a driver can feel as if they're having a lot of success and build on that week after week, they often can drive a car they typically wouldn't because they're overthinking where the team is set up on. So I love to see that for Brandon Ward and where they are straight out of the gate here and what's to come for him. Maybe is he going to be able to work up through the field? That draw is quite hefty, though.
I know Matthew Dillner as well as James Spike talked a lot about this last week as we see the Sportsman cars coming out for their second 20-lap feature here tonight. But you see the Musco lighting, the LEDs flashing on and off, just adds to the drama here at Bowman Gray Stadium. The new safer barrier as well. A lot of improvements here at the Madhouse.
Yes, there sure is. It's lovely to see the lights like this. They have done these same light type of installations at North Wilkesboro as well, and I've laughed because at North Wilkesboro, the drivers, to get to Victory Lane, they have to go up to the elevator, and when they do the lights like this, it's hard for them to find it, and there's people walking all over, so I can only imagine what they see. But if you look around the grandstands right now, the fans have got their phones out and their flashlights on, so it's really cool to see exactly them involved in this. And it's also just neat to add this into the Bowman Gray tradition.
So it looks like the car is starting to roll off. That means it's time to take a look at the starting lineup for this Twin 20-lap feature for the Sportsman class here. And you see a lot of big names at the back of this field. Dylan Ward will lead the field to the green flag in that 77. He had trouble earlier tonight in the first of the Twin 20s. Justin Cummings alongside in the 97.
In that row 2, the number 15, it's T. Dawson. And to the outside in that number 8 is Kyler Kepler.
Mitch Gales was pretty strong in that first feature, was right there in the top 10 in that number 38. Billy Gregg, the show himself, in the 28 will start outside row number 3.
And in row number 4, it's the 23 of Ryan Robertson. And to that outside, it's one half of the Taylor brothers. It's Justin Taylor.
The Tiger, Tommy Neal, 54 wins in NASCAR Sportsman competition here at Bowman Gray. He'll start on the inside of row number 5 with Sterling Clemens in that very fast 03 alongside.
Yeah, and rolling off in that 11th position, we have the 51 of Austin Taylor. And to the outside of number 7, it's Connor Branch.
The 31 of Chase Robertson will line up 13th, and the winner of the first race of the night, Zach Orr in the 55, will roll off alongside of him. Rounding out the top 15 in this one, the 01. We'll keep an eye on all those racers as they try to come through from the back of the field up to the front. That's going to be a big task for a lot of people. But you take a look at the Tiger, Tommy Neal, all those wins, 54 in all in the Sportsman class. He's been one of the best here for so long. Tried a little modified racing as well. But the Tiger, it's really good to see him full-fledged effort here in the Sportsman class this year.
Yeah, and in that season opener, we had Tiger, Tommy Neal, and Zach Orr who had contact and some problems with each other. So we'll see just how this irons out as we see Zach Orr hopefully move up through the field. He will come in contact at some point with Tiger, Tommy Neal.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on this. They're coming to the green off of turn number 4. Let's see what happens. Nice, slow pace. The green flag is out, and they fly into turn number 1. Dylan Ward able to grab the advantage with that duct tape number on the side of that race car. You can tell it's early in the season for some of these drivers.
Yeah, Dylan Ward so worried about getting everybody else's car prepared, and going for the Bowman Gray season. Doesn't have time for his own car and his own graphics, Bob. But you can see he's been able to take advantage as he has lead this field. We have contact further back in the field.
Yeah, it looked like it was T. Dawson and Sterling Clemens in that 0-3. And look at Zach Orr. Started 14th and is already climbing his way into the top 5. No way. They say it can't be done, but Zach Orr has done it already in this one.
Capitalizing as soon as you can and taking advantage. Is Zach Orr using his oar to mow his way through the field? And here he is, though, right on the back of that 21 of Tommy Neal.
Here comes Tommy Neal to the inside, trying to work his way up to the 3rd spot. He gets it. Here comes Zach Orr. The Red Seas have opened for Zach Orr. T. Dawson goes to the outside, lets a bunch of people get by him. Sterling Clemens now in the 5th spot in the 0-3 as T. Dawson with an anchor going to the back of the field.
A lot of shifting here in the field. The 55, we have all eyes on him right behind that number 21. Just curious how much contact he's going to apply here with the history between these two. But throw a blanket over them. We've got quite the battle a little bit further back.
You can throw a blanket over 3rd on back, but honestly, that leader, look at the gap from 1st to 2nd. Incredible performance in this one so far by Dylan Ward in that 77 machine. Justin Taylor kind of fading back into the clutches of the Tiger.
Dylan Ward, as you mentioned, he has 16 career Sportsman wins, currently driving Clemens' old race car right now, and the yellow flag is going to fly among the track. Not what Dylan wanted to see.
Not at all. He was hoping this one would stay clean and green the entire way. Now it looked like Justin Taylor was actually kind of losing ground a little bit, but now Tommy Neal, Zach Orr, Sterling Clemens, Branch, a bunch of others. Robertson hasn't been able to make his way through the field as much as Zach Orr has. Remember, they started in row number 7, and right now, Zach Orr is up to the 4th spot, and Chase Robertson just outside the top 5.
Looks like we're going to park the field on the backstretch here just a little bit to get them sorted. In that number 12 of Justin Taylor, I talked a little bit about earlier how I got to know them, but he told me a really interesting story about him and why Kyle Busch was one of his favorite drivers for the longest time. And he said, somehow I inherited this late model body from Kyle Busch and conversations with people, and he helped me early on in my career when my family needed it the most. And so I've always been a Kyle Busch fan, but he also said he does like Larson as well.
Oh, good story, and I appreciate you. I saw you digging down there in the pit area earlier today here at Bowman Gray Stadium. Coming back to the restart here, Dylan Ward. You still have 2nd place, the number 12 right now of Justin Taylor. Then Neal in 3rd, Zach Orr in 4th, and Sterling Clemens in that 5th spot. Ward able to open up a gap on that initial lap after the green flag on that restart. He's got a good race car here tonight.
Yeah, great drive by Dylan Ward, and he's doing all he can do, which is try to break away from this field and get as much of a gap as he can. Coming around this time by there, we're going to hit the halfway mark on a 20-lap feature. 10 in the books, 10 to go, with Dylan Ward still leading the way.
And remember, Zach Orr back there in that 4th spot trying to go back-to-back here tonight. And only 11 drivers have actually done that on a single night. So Zach Orr trying to become the 12th driver to accomplish that feat.
He has a great chance to do so if he can get around Tommy Neal and Justin Taylor, but it looks like he's in a little bit of a Loctite there. Sterling Clemens right on his back bumper as well. That entire crew right there trying to get out of the way and get around each other.
Yeah, Justin Taylor might be in trouble because the Tiger is going to be on the attack here soon. Tommy Neal not afraid to use that front bumper as he's trying to do down there in the corner. Everybody stacked up there. Close racing. Chase Robertson trying to go underneath. Sterling Clemens to break into the top 5 the last couple of laps. Has not been able to get underneath that brand new 0-3 car for Clemens. Out front, though, in Clemens' old car, Ward still leading with a huge gap in this one. So I think Taylor kind of slowing down the pace for second on back. And a little smoke actually coming from the back end of the 77 going into turn number 3. So this time by 5 to go in the second of the Sportsman races here tonight at Bowman Gray.
Very interesting by the 77. I don't know if he's having a fuel issue or something going on with them. It seems to be, though, he is driving it and not having too much of an issue, maybe a little loose off there. But behind him, still continue to stack up behind that number 12.
Yeah, he was wicked loose last week. Ward was, and he might be a little bit loose. But behind that, we got some great battles going on right now. Taylor trying to hold off Tommy Neal. Behind that, we have some great side-by-side racing action as well in this one. There it is, Chase Robertson moving by Zach Orr. Now right behind Tommy Neal. This is second, third, fourth, fifth, and back.
All you can do in this situation is honestly dial up the aggression, and that is what they are trying to do, but they're not trying to take each other out. Props to Tiger Tommy Neal for being patient here, though, behind Justin Taylor when he's clearly quicker. The white flag is 1 lap to go.
Yeah, Dylan Ward got a little smoke right there. You see, still down in the corner and going all the way down the backstretch. But second on back is the battle. But tonight, in race number 3 of the season, it'll be Dylan Ward picking up the win in the NASCAR Sportsman class at Bowman Gray Stadium. Oh, chaos coming off the corner. Tommy Neal, Taylor, everybody. Chase Robertson involved in a crazy finish, but it's Justin Taylor finishing in second, Tommy Neal in third. Fourth is Chase Robertson. Fifth, the initial win tonight belonged to the 55, Zach Orr. He's fifth in this one. And behind that, it was a battle. Looked like maybe Branch in the 6th spot.
Great drive by Dylan Ward, being able to keep it clean and run away from there. It looks like, though, we're going to have a flow racing replay on that final corner and what just all went down with Justin Taylor. Tommy Neal getting a shot from behind from Chase Robertson. Around he goes, backs it up to the 55, but able to take that checkered flag.
But Chase Robertson, the driver that he has backed off a little bit, got into Tommy Neal, backed off, said that's not the way I want it to happen. And now Sterling Plemons congratulating Ward, teammates here. And Dylan Ward with just a great run, gets his 17th career win, which ties him, by the way, with John Holloman, the 4th, for 22nd all-time in the Sportsman class here at the stadium. He's a heck of a driver. I tell you what, he can run the wheels off of any race car here on this racetrack. And tonight, even though he's got, I believe that's duct tape numbers on the car, he grabs the win. Sterling Plemons going to go down there and celebrate with him. It's been a tough night for Sterling Plemons, that initial lap. And there are the numbers on the side of that race car. Maybe a little bit better than just duct tape numbers, but they're very plain numbers. But you know what? It doesn't matter. If they're plain or fancy, he was fast enough to grab the victory. And now he's victory lane here again. Dylan Ward grabbing the victory in the second of the Twin-20 features for the Sportsman at Bowman Gray Stadium. Let's go trackside.
Second 20-lap event for the Losses of John Barrow Sportsman Series. Dylan Ward, ladies and gentlemen. Dylan, you had the field covered there and then some, my friend.
Yeah, this night really wasn't expected to go the way it did. But I mean, I was planning on starting to park the first race and starting to park the second race, but we ended up getting the pole for the second when Sterling told me to do what I wanted to do, and I went ahead and run it. And, it worked out tonight. I hate that Sterling had bad luck, but I've got to appreciate him and Steve Plemons, Tim Triplett, everybody that's been behind me. I mean, Nick, AJ in the shop. I give all this to God. I mean, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him, and I really appreciate all the help I've had in the past, and just fortunate to be able to race tonight.
Dylan, by my calculations, is this win number 17 in the Sportsman division?
Yeah, I'd like to have a lot more by now, but I don't get to race that much anymore, and it's good to come out here tonight and be able to do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause to Dylan Ward as he heads over to the Carolina
So Dylan Ward gets the win, ends the Sportsman racing here tonight. Zach Orr getting the win in the first of the Twin 20 features. The Modifieds coming up next with their second feature of the night, another 25-lap battle. We'll have that on Flow Racing when we return with plenty of drama here at Bowman Gray. This is what you have all wanted to see. What happens after the drama of the first Twin 25 here tonight for the NASCAR Modifieds at Bowman Gray Stadium. Mike Spini might be looking out his front windshield, might be looking out his rear view mirror, watching for where that Myers family is, because it looked like he might have had contact with each and every one of them, and there's 3 total of the Myers family in this second feature of the night for the Modifieds here at the stadium. You see that white car with the Suzuki on the side, Brandon Ward. He won the first race of the night, and now by virtue of the Madhouse Scramble, a 16 was selected. Brandon Ward will start 16th. Tell you what, let's take a look at the starting lineup, and we'll try to breeze through this one for you here tonight with the NASCAR Modifieds at Bowman Gray Stadium. On the point for this one, a 41-time winner here at the stadium. Jason Myers, who's had 2 bad breaks in the first 2 races of the year. Kyle Southern in the number 9 alongside of him.
Starting that row number 2, it's the number 1 of Burt Myers, and to his outside, it's the 00 of Danny Probst.
Ethan Truhl, second-generation race car driver in the number 64, will start 5th, and Jordan Fleming out of Mount Airy, North Carolina in the 13 is 6th.
In that row, number 4, the real deal, Riley Neal, 07. And to his outside, the 44 of Daniel Beeson.
Junior Snow, the 51 in 9th. The 10 of Randy Butner. And who is that? Out of the race car. Junior Snow, possibly? As we go through this starting grid, we're watching some interesting things happen here. Junior Snow has 2 cars. Apparently, the 51, as you looked at the rest of your starting lineup, has stopped on the racetrack. And now Junior Snow going over to his teammate here, and looks like he's going to climb in Gerald Robinson's car. Wow.
I've never seen this before.
Hey, that's why you bring a lot of these teams. That's why they bring. Randy Butner was telling me that today. I bring 2 cars, not only for Brandon to run, but also, you know, just in case something happens after the first feature and I need it for the second feature. Same can be said right here for Junior Snow. His car is stopped on the front stretch, and I will tell you that. And right now, Robinson is actually climbing behind the wheel of Junior Snow's machine. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on here. You never know what you're going to see at Bowman Gray.
I have so many questions. Many questions. So I would assume by this nature that there is an issue with the 51 car, and Junior Snow's getting now in the 19, but to that, would he get the position of rolling off in the 5th row in a different vehicle? I'm not sure.
We'll find out. We'll just leave it that.
Yes. Back to the lineup of all of this, as we're unsure what may happen between these 2 pink and black cars that we have.
We mentioned the top 4 rows. Let's go back to row number 5. That's where it looks like maybe Gerald Robinson will start in the 51 now. Good job by our graphics artist here to get that starting grid change. Randy Button, who's won a bunch of these Twin 25's in the number 5 car, will start 10th.
And in that row, number 6, the number 75 of Lee Jeffries. And to the outside, the 79 of Ryan Skip Flores.
We go a little bit further through the field, starting 13th here tonight. Mike Spini, the guarded one. Let's just call him that. He's going to be looking every which way around his race car. For the Myers family, he'll start 13th. 14th will be the 16 of Chris Fleming.
And in that row 8, it's the Rocket, the 83 of Tim Brown. And to his outside, the 04, it's Brandon Ward.
Crab Smith. Sounds like he should be from like Delaware or something. In the number 99 car, will start on the inside of row number 9. And Junior Snow now, we believe, in the 19, will start back there on the outside of row number 9.
To be determined, but in that row number 10, the number 77 of Susan Harwell. And the 35 of Brandon Butner.
So Johnny Murdoch, Slate Myers, Jason Southern, and Corey Levette. They're the next cars in the starting lineup.
Looks to be that they are going to push that 51 car to the pits. So is it a terminal issue further down?
let's take a look at this. Watch this. There was contact between Speeney, and then there you see Slate Myers going to the wall off the front bumper or tire of the 10 car. Then Speeney gets into Dad, Burt Myers. Myers goes around, and then later on, Jason Myers spins, and you'll see at the right side of your screen over here as we come into the corner. And that's a checkered flag, actually, but Jason Myers and Speeney might have had some contact as well during the race. Green flag is out. Jason Myers goes down to turn number 1, but that'll be called off.
It's almost like deja vu, Bob.
Yes, exactly. That's the same thing that happened in the first lap. Deja vu all over again. Yogi Berra saying, I know my brother Matthew loves that. So, second time, see we get a little bit better. It's Jason Myers on the point, leading the field to the green flag, with Kyle Southern alongside as they race into 1. Jason Myers going to be able to get the top spot. Burt Myers is there as well, so Kyle Southern in a Myers family sandwich right now on the opening lap.
Great restart right there by the 4 of Jason Myers, followed by Kyle Southern. And further back, they are just single file with the 2x2 starting about that 7th position on back.
We'll keep it a little bit wide here for you to see the top 5. Want to note, as we go back a little bit further, 2 veterans going at it. There's Lee Jeffries in the number 75 car, Randy Butner alongside of him. And Butner, the tough way around the racetrack right now. Speeney underneath him as Butner losing some spots. By the way, Junior Snow had to start at the rear of the field because he changed race cars.
Looking at the bigger picture, though, sometimes that's what you have to do. The number 77 of Susan Harwell has exited the speedway, but we're back to seeing exactly all the contact that's happening a little bit further back in the field. You'll see Tim Brown, that 83, who is buried, and Chris Fleming now trying to work their way up through the field.
Just had a change of position inside the top 5. Moving up to 4th is 17-year-old Riley Neal. Neal now up to 4th. 5th, Ethan Truel, the Rookie of the Year candidate, having himself a good ride. You see that often in these Twin-25's with the Madhouse Scramble and the invert of sorts. But Ethan Truel in that 64 having himself a good run right now inside the top 5. Riley Neal, by the way, when he scores the victory, and you know it's coming, will become the youngest driver ever in NASCAR modified competition to win at the stadium. Can he do it here tonight in this race?
Riley Neal sure is making a name for himself in this modified division, only in his sophomore year here. But that 07, gosh, that might be my best favorite looking car that's out here tonight. But we're looking at the leader right here of the number 4 of Jason Myers, who continues to lead over Kyle Southern by quite a bit, with Burt Myers on the back bumper of Kyle Southern and won't let him get away with that P2 just yet.
So Myers has the lead by a good margin. We're going to look for second on back. Kyle Southern trying to hold down contact from Burt Myers, and Southern goes around and he makes sure he gets Burt Myers as well. So, there you have it.
Wow.
Listen, there was some contact. You see the chrome horn or the orange horn on the front end of the Burt Myers machine. By the way, I heard about that, the story about that car, black and blue, Detroit Lions blue. Yes, he watched a Thursday night football game last year. Loved the Lions blue, so that's why the blue has been incorporated on Burt Myers' machine this year. So, can't wait to take a look at that one again because the modifieds have been plentiful with contact here tonight. Let's take a look at this replay and watch Burt Myers here. Hard to tell whether Kyle Southern came down the racetrack. Might have just ever so slightly, but slowed up. Maybe that car a little bit tight, and what happened was Burt Myers got into him. He started to go around, tried to save it, and actually got into Burt Myers, who made the initial contact.
Interesting turn of events there, and the way that he kind of came down into the corner. He was almost half a car length lower than he had been entering in before. And then, of course, he's going to be catching Kyle Southern, but Kyle Southern looked like he gassed it up as soon as he got sideways.
And that's a great perspective there, Jacqueline, honestly. And you've been behind the wheel of race cars and trying to see exactly what was being said to Kyle Southern.
Yeah, it looked like an official was exchanging words with that number 9.
Yeah, so Riley Neal now up to second. We mentioned he's going after his first win in the NASCAR Modifieds. 5 wins for the 07, by the way. 5 wins overall in the NASCAR Sportsman division here at this racetrack. So it's Jason Myers, Riley Neal in second. Kyle Southern now back to third. Fourth is Ethan Truel. And Danny Probst is in the 5th spot. The Flying Taco in the 00. And Kyle Southern, you see that banged up front bumper on that race car. And by the way, let's talk about Kyle Southern a little bit, because an unbelievable story. On March 9th, he lost his home and shop in a fire. His wife actually put the car in the shop just before the fire actually began. So they had so much to do, figure out how they're going to live. They bought, a travel trailer. They're living in that on the property right now, and they're trying to put their life back together. But they're making the best of it. He's in such a good mood in this pit area. He actually took that number 9 car, took delivery of it, a former car from the Northeast. He took delivery of it and actually got that car just 9 days before the opener, and is running in the top 3 with it here at Bowman Gray on the second night of the year.
Yeah, and if you're just now tuning in to something like this, you may wonder, why is it that when a family goes through a tragedy, they're thinking about their race car instead of maybe other things? And a lot of times for these families, this is where they maybe spend their vacation money. This is where they make their family memories. And on the other side, it's often a business. This is where you can make that sponsorship money and other things. So hats off to them for being able to push through exactly everything that they went through. And I also spoke to that team today, and they said Justin Link, who is a crew member on many of these drivers, they call him the suspension magician,
yes,
is crewing on his car tonight, and alluded that this would be a great night for them to be able to seal that win.
And to your point, which was a great story, right, with Kyle Southern, we're coming back to green next lap, but just to put a period, his wife, Kyle Southern's wife, said, you know what, that car's available, go buy it. You need it. We went through a lot, but I know you love racing. Go get that race car and go racing at Bowman Gray Stadium.
Absolutely love that story, and glad to see them come out of something that's really hard for that family. We're going to come around the north turn this time as we're going to look to that green flag.
Here we go, back to green at the Madhouse. Jason Myers with the lead. A little damage on the right rear quarter for Jason Myers. I believe that was from the first of the Twin-25's on the night for the Modifieds here at Bowman Gray. Riley Neal in second. Had a great chat with that family earlier today, running in that second spot. It's been a little while since he's actually won, and he said, listen, I've forgotten what it feels like to win, but I haven't forgotten how to win. And if Riley Neal can do it here tonight, his family's going to go crazy. His dad was telling me, Riley actually sent him a text earlier this week and said, listen, I want to thank you so much for all that you've done for me. And that family pours their heart and soul. His dad said it was the best text he's ever gotten. A little bit further back, there is Tim Brown getting by the 5 of Randy Butner. Randy Butner, by the way, one of those mainstays, Carolina Triad Choice Realty with Amanda Tucker on the side of that race car.
Yeah, he had to rebuild his car all week after sustaining damage from last week and everything he went through. We also had a little bit of laugh about that number 5. He actually has some orange powder-coated valve covers underneath the hood. We've got 9 laps to go. Looking to the head of the field here, we have the number 4 of Jason Myers leading the way over Riley Neal.
Listen, Riley Neal, he's a tough kid. Still in high school, junior in high school. Oh, man, he sent it in there like gangbusters and almost got into the back bumper of Jason Myers, able to stay off of him. Maybe trying to figure things out on what he needs to do as the laps wind down here in the second Twin-25. Kyle Southern, that story we told you. Great to see him in that 3rd spot. 4th, Danny Probst. And now 5th is actually the 10 car of Mike Speeney. So Speeney into the top 5 as well.
You mentioned that text message between Riley Neal and his father, Kevin Neal, who is a past champion here at Bowman Gray. Kevin Neal's birthday was actually yesterday, with Riley Neal saying, I hope to get him a win for his birthday.
Watch this, by the way. Going down to the corner, Riley sends it in there and just ever so slightly gets into the back bumper of Jason Myers, but showing maturity beyond his years to stay off the back bumper of the veteran Jason Myers.
A way to recover as well as he kind of washed up to the corner. He's trying everything he can to gain position over Jason Myers, another veteran here tonight on this service. We talk a lot about Burt Myers, but Jason Myers is right there behind him and has been racing this track for many, many years with the Myers brothers, dating back with their family to the 60s here.
Less than 2 to go in this one. Riley Neal is there, but Kraft Smith might prevent him from getting closer. White flag is in the air. Jason Myers, the working man, trying to grab his first win of the year. Contact between Neal and Myers. Neal backs off and allows Myers to gather control. Another shot from Riley Neal. Jason Myers trying to hold on to it for the 41st time. 42nd time he wins at the stadium.
Wow, unbelievable battle between these two. Jason Myers able to hold on despite the amount of contact from the 07 of Riley Neal sideways coming out of that turn 4 into the line, the number 4, Jason Myers.
Wow. That was great car control by both of those race car drivers. You can't blame Riley Neal for banging the back bumper. And here it is, down in the corner, Kraft Smith. He's trying to get to him right there. Final lap in this one, and Riley Neal did all he could. Hits the inside berm there. They get into it off of turn number 2. And then he lets Jason Myers go to say, I got one more shot. Let me get into him, knocks him sideways, and great car control by Jason Myers. Incredible. Jason Myers scores the 234th career win for the Myers family here at the Madhouse.
Unbelievable performance. And how about it for that sophomore driver, Riley Neal, looking for his first win, but still able to perform in a veteran, respectable way. He didn't want to get it with putting Jason Myers in a bad position. He raced him hard but fair, but Jason Myers still prevailing tonight and burning it down here in Winston-Salem.
Absolutely. Jason Myers, the working man, gets the victory, his first of the season, and it comes at a perfect time for Jason Myers. Trouble in the Hayes Jewelers 200, trouble in the first feature tonight, and now redeems himself after that bad luck to grab his 42nd win at the Madhouse. So used to for a while, calling him a 41-time winner, now 42 for sure. Of course, Jason has been a competitor on the Smart Modified Tour for many years as well, pulling off of that tour this year to actually concentrate here at the Madhouse. He celebrates side.
Jason, let's come around here to our folks from Flow Racing. Want to see you up there. Jason, I was about to put out a missing driver report on you. It's been since August 12th of 2023 that you visited Victory Lane. Wow. It was fabbing in the first race, but you had them covered in the second one. It's got to feel good, buddy.
Yeah, you finish bad enough here long enough, you'll get a second race win one day or the other. I tell you, I mean, we had a good race car tonight, but not near good. We got some homework to do. We had a good run last week going and had a little fuel pump issue and thought we were going to be good this week. The switching of the fresh tires really threw us for a loop and the car didn't like it. But hey, I'll tell you what. I'm trying to look at my decals and my car's tore all to pieces. I can't see what I got. KW Locksmith. Look, Advantage Machine Service. You see this right here? That's my man right there. I gotta thank my dad. Universal Technical Institute for putting horsepower in this thing. Greg Butcher Trucking. Oh man. So I gotta catch my breath. That's the hardest second 25 lapper I've ever run. Riley tried to snooker me there at the end. Sorry, my daughter's graduating this week from Alabama. She wasn't able to make it. I got her on FaceTime right here. I love you, Emma. But yeah, we'll, I don't know. Thanks to everybody. It's about time to get back to Victory Lane. Jason Myers, let's not wait another 2 years.
How about that? Big congratulations not only for Jason Myers, but his daughter Emma as well, graduating down in Alabama. Roll Tide, baby. That car banged up, battered, and bruised, and there's the hug. by Dad Gary here for Jason Myers, carrying on the tradition of the 4-car at Bowman Stadium for so many years. Mom down there as well. It's a family celebration for the Myers here at Bowman Gray Stadium. We still got more racing when we return to Flow Racing. And when you come to Bowman Gray Stadium, Winston-Salem, for that May 10th race, you got to get over to the Advanced Auto Parts here, just around the block from here. On May 8th, they're going to have giveaways, autographs, raffles, and more. The NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts weekly series every week here at Bowman Gray Stadium, but that's your chance to go over and get some autographs and more with the stars from the Madhouse.
Starting fourth from Winston-Salem is the number 10 of Craig Hartless.
So with that happening in just a couple of weeks, that's going to be fun. And always, listen, I remember when I was a kid, when they had, mall shows or whatever, you always wanted to go see and get an autograph with your favorite driver. That's a great opportunity with Auto Parts. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the street stocks here tonight at Bowman Gray Stadium for race number 2 on the year. The number 23 of Jordan Atkins. He actually is from Kernersville, North Carolina. He'll start on the point. By the way, Nate Kirk there in the 80 going to the rear of the field, so he will not start on the outside of the front row.
Rolling off in that row, number 2 from Winston-Salem is the 35 of Andy Avery. And to the outside, also from Winston-Salem, the number 10 of Craig Hartless.
Scheduled to start 5th, the 19 of TJ Rayleigh out of Germantown, North Carolina. And then how about this? A fan favorite in the 09, his son Braden's car, Zach Staley out of Lexington, North Carolina.
And in row number 4 from Lexington, North Carolina as well, we have the number 17 of Andy Southern. And to that outside, from Winston-Salem, the number 99, it's Brian Sykes Jr.
Former stadium stock winner in the number 8, Kyler Staley, will start in 9th. 10th will be Brian Schupp in the Low Gap, North Carolina driver, number 88 machine.
Rolling off 11 from Wahlberg, North Carolina is the 00 of Donnie Martin. And to that outside from Clements, North Carolina, it's the number 30 of Zachary Koger.
Starting 13th, could be lucky, number 33 for DJ Dean out of Thompsonville, North Carolina. One stadium stock win to his credit. On the outside of row number 7, it's the 24 of Austin Jones. Sparky is what they like to call him.
And starting in 15th position from Trinity, North Carolina, it's the number 1 of Christian Joyce. And to that outside from Winston-Salem in the right choice, Fleming, number 16, it's Brad Lewis.
17th will be the 13 of K-Train, Kevin Gilbert out of Moxville, North Carolina. And then Emily Lewis, who rides Sully on the side of her race car out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, will start 18th in the number 4.
Rolling off 19th from Lexington, we have the 72 of Brian Robertson. And round out the field tonight in the 20th position from Winston-Salem, it's the number 9 of Brandon Brown.
So Kyler Staley, not under fire just yet. We'll see if he's okay. Might have to have a little push start to that number 8 machine. You got to love the Staley cars this year with the purple and yellow. Kind of almost reminds me of the old camel car for Jimmy Spencer, right? And they got all sorts of stickers, and I don't even know how they can see out the back window of that car to see who's behind them, honestly. But maybe that's why Zach Staley couldn't see who was coming last week. We won't get into that. So just some drama last week in this division as well. And here's what I love with the fans. A lot of them have the phones out right now, have the lights on, and waving to their favorite drivers here from the street stock division, which puts on such a great show at Bowman Gray each week.
Absolutely. There's so many personalities in this division, which makes it a lot of fun to watch, and even more fun for kids to go up and get to know these drivers and see how they're going to do week in and week out. I want to talk about that front row field, though. Really could be anyone's game tonight, and who will we see that's going to take the win and overall going to show out tonight with Austin Jones rolling off the winner from last week in that 14th position. Not too many laps tonight, only 20 laps in this feature event. It could be anyone's game.
And by the way, just as a reminder, and I know everybody here loves the chain races, but we really love these races. This is what I come for. The chain races are just a bonus. A lack of competitors tonight, so we will not have any chain races here tonight at Bowman Gray Stadium. But we're one to go until we go green at Bowman Gray Stadium with the street stocks. Jacqueline, this has been race car, maybe run a street stock.
I'll tell you, if there's a division that I don't want to run, it might be the street stock division. They can be pretty ruthless. Yeah, I mean, I give it to them. They don't let anybody have any slack here, so I'll have to sit out this division. But side by side we come, as the green flag is going to fly.
Green flag is out for the street stocks here, bumping and banging, going down into turn number 1. And it looks like TJ Whaley did not get up to speed going into that first corner, slow on the racetrack, and another car spinning going down the back stretch as well. I believe that was Jordan Atkins spinning to the infield there. So a lot going on in this one. And remember, Jordan Atkins led the field to the green flag. We got cars all over the place in this one, and that will cause the yellow flag to come out in the opening lap of this race. My, oh my.
I don't even know where to start with that. We kind of had cars going all over the place. Jordan Atkins rejoined the field here, but she did so while we were still under green, so I'm not sure where they or what they're going to do with the position they're going to give her, but unfortunately, though, is not going to be up at the front of this field. With that being said, the number 10 of Craig Hartless is now your leader, followed by that 09, which is very hard to see, that very tiny zero of Zach Staley.
Yes, and by the way, Brian Shoup actually spun to the infield as well. So 3 cars on the opening laps of this race getting into some trouble. So a lot going on. 1 to go until we go green again. Zach Staley, man, he getting into the back bumper of the 10 a couple of times. Interesting. We take a look at the replay of what happened to the 23 of Jordan Atkins, and just kind of loses it. Was kind of loose coming off the corner, trying to get it going, and just lost the back end. But it was interesting to see coming to the white 1 to go until we go green again, as we take a look at it one more time before our restart. It was interesting because Staley was all over the back bumper of Craig Hartless. Staley, not with a good start, gets a little bump from the back of the 99 car of Sykes, getting into him and now underneath him in a battle for second.
Contact very early on in this feature, as we're only 3 laps in the books. Craig Hartless continuing to lead the way. Zach Staley about to get freight train now. The 99 now passing for him. The 24 looking to do so the same.
So take a look at that 99 car, good-looking black and yellow machine. He was all over the place in turn number 4. That car just about crashed without crashing. It was sideways, but now he's gathered it back up. Now setting his sights on the 10 of Hartless. It's Sykes and Hartless, and look at the contact down there in the corner.
Wow. What a wreck. The 24 of Austin Jones, your winner from last week, also collected a little bit in that mess, who has a lot of damage. We're looking there at the camera on the wall, in the number 10 of Craig Hartless, and all the damage that he has sustained getting into the wall.
Zach Staley driving on the racetrack, frustrated, I'm sure, going to the pit area. Now let's take a look at what we saw down here. And there it looks like, honestly, the 10 of Hartless just kind of lost it. And then, wow, hard lick in turn number 4 for several of the competitors. Wow.
Zach Staley, we talked about last week, the damage he sustained, and now has exited off. Not what he wanted to see. Let's see the replay here this time.
Real time. No, it's still a little bit slow, it almost looks like there. Boom!
Wow.
Into the wall. Wow. Hard lick down there in turn number 4.
Yeah, you can even see on that number 10, the windshield had almost come apart as he hit the side of that wall. More damage right there by the number 99 of Brian Sykes Jr. that he also sustained.
And by the way, it looked like Austin Jones was involved in that one as well. We were trying to get a gather from that speed shot coming off the corner, and happened so quick, hard to tell, but it looked like Austin Jones in the 24. That'll be a bad break for him after such a special week last week.
Looks like Brian Sykes Jr. is going to continue to lead this field, even with getting the one to go.
And he's got some damage on the right side of that race car. You can see that door kind of banged up, battered, and bruised right there, but as long as it stays on, he'll be A-OK. Coming back to the green, this time by Sykes. Had a very good race car. We'll see if he can continue to lead this one. We're still early in this one for the street stocks. Brad Lewis behind him. We get the green flag again. We're going to keep our eyes peeled, honestly, about third on back. That's where the battles begin, because it looks like Sykes has got a pretty good advantage over Brad Lewis. Andy Southern back in that third spot. And then Kyler Staley in fourth.
Kind of unbelievable that the 99 was able to take off like that with all the damage, and the 16s trying to close the gap on the leader. And as you can see, third on back going to be a little bit closed gap, bumper to bumper, as they try to get around that number 17 of Andy Southern.
Yeah, 00 of Donnie Martin rides in the fifth spot, but Christian Joyce, who was a champion last year, actually the last 2 years here in the street stock class, is right outside the top 5 and trying to get on the inside of Donnie the Moose Martin in that 00. All out front, Brian Sykes Jr. Good lead over the 16 of Brad Lewis. Having himself a good run. Those battles, though, are for third on back, Jacqueline.
Southern trying to hold off the line behind him. The number 8 up on the side of him. He's going to get a little bit of airtime. We have cars flying down in the infield left and right. They're going to keep it going.
Looks like Donnie Martin spun to the infield, so he was in the top 5. Now out of the top 5. We keep going. It's green flag racing conditions here. We're coming to the line this time. This next time should be 9 laps to go.
Kyler Staley says, it's all right, I got a little bit of air time, but I'm going to keep this going. Let's take a look at the replay and what just happened.
Check this out from our turn 2 camera going into turn number 3. And there is the number 8 car getting a ride up the left rear quarter panel of Southern. So contact between those two cars between Southern and Staley. And there's Brian Sykes Jr. trying to win for the 3rd time in his career in the street stock division. The damage on the 17 car of Southern, just trying to hold on. Every point matters, every position matters when you're battling for a championship. There is Emily Lewis in the number 4 car. And we got plenty of racing action going on all over the place, but Lewis in the number 4 car has got a great looking machine here, former winner in this class. Let's take a look at what happens. Once again, there's Sykes coming off the corner. This is a replay, and there's the contact between the 8 and the 17. So Staley just got into Southern a little bit right there. And then, unfortunately for Donnie Martin, he spun to the infield. 5 to go for Brian Sykes Jr. Trying to grab an early win on the 2025 season for that good-looking yellow and black machine with the damage on the right side door.
Brian Sykes Jr. has continued to lead the way and worked his way through a little bit of lap traffic. Right behind him, though, Brad Lewis has 1 lap car in between the two of them, and quite frankly, almost a complete straightaway lead now, the 99 over the 16.
Yeah, it's a pretty big advantage for Sykes as he comes down by the line again as laps keep on ticking away. 1 to go for Brian Sykes Jr. in this one. He could basically stay behind the slower car in front of him and be A-OK. That's how far Brad Lewis is behind him. By the way, Kyler Staley is in the 3rd spot, but tonight it's the victory for Brian Sykes Jr. in the 99, his 3rd career win in the street stock class here at this racetrack.
Brian Sykes Jr. taking home the win in that 99. not without a clean car, though. He finished third place last week in the season opener, and then a winner today. He gets his third career win and the 9th win for the Sykes family overall.
Yeah, pretty impressive run here. He was fast even before the melees happened right in front of him. And Brian Sykes Jr. able to grab this win. That's going to mean a lot to him, especially early in the season. And I think, Jacqueline, you hit the nail on the head. A good podium run last week combined with a victory this week. Well on his way to a good championship-style effort early in the season. Got a long way to go, but every race counts. And Brian Sykes has opened up the season very well.
You'll take a look at him right here making his victory lap. That's a great photo right there, and I love that he has the white gloves on and his family running out, teammates chasing him to the victory lane, wanting to all celebrate together.
Kyler Staley coming down to victory lane to congratulate Brian. And Kyler had himself a good run as well in the third spot at the end of this one. Brad Lewis winds up in the runner-up position. Let's go trackside here at the Madhouse.
Coming up next, the second 15-lapper for the Q104.1 Stadium Stock Series. Brian getting a cold bottle of water. Brian, let's look up here at our friends at Flow Racing. Congratulations on that win. I believe you took the season finale last August. Got to be feeling really great to be back in victory lane tonight.
Man, first off, I got to thank God for letting me do what I love to do every day. Billy and Nate Gregg, Nate, my spotter, crew chief, man, I can't thank them enough. This thing's an absolute rocket. Cooper and Sonia and Lowe, I couldn't be here without them. My dad, Brian Sykes, and I got to, of course, thank all these great sponsors. Travis and Zach with Priority One Auto Sales, Premier Metal Buildings, Greg's Old Lexington, Quid Pro Q, RJ Customs, Olympic Restaurant, Sykes Metal Roofing. Whew, I think that's it.
So Brian Sykes Jr. with the big win, and that'll be a heck of a celebration. One more race to go for NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Racing Action at Bowman Gray Stadium. That's coming up next on Flow Racing. One more race. That's what we have here tonight at Bowman Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. We are live on Flow Racing. I am Bob Diller. Alongside of me is Jacqueline Drake. We've had a great time calling all the racing action, but this one is going to be a dandy as well. Second feature for the stadium stocks. There's so many. They have two different features. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for this one here for this 15-lap race. On the point for this one, Lightning McQueen. Yes, he's got the 95 and the bolt on the side of that race car. It's Levi Holt out of Kernersville, North Carolina. And on the outside of that front row, Sydney Sanders, the daughter-in-law for AJ Sanders, the legend here in this division, in the number 11.
Rolling off in row number 2 from Mocksville, North Carolina, we have the 71 of James Allison. And to that outside, it's the number 86 from Kernersville, North Carolina, Dakota Miller.
Starting 5th in the number 22, it's Peanut Baker in the Little Donuts machine. I haven't had any Little Donuts tonight. I'm disappointed. On the outside, starting 6th and 60, Brad Michalowski.
How about row number 4 from Mocksville, North Carolina, the number 1 of Grayson Keaton. And to that outside from King, North Carolina, it's the 69 of Brandon Cross.
Rounding out the top 10, he's a one-time winner here in this division, the 74 of Matt Alley. And then the number 5 will start 10th, a 4-time winner here at this racetrack, the number 5 of Connor Keaton.
And from Advanced North Carolina, the number 2 of Carson Reed in that 11th position. And number 12 is the 28 of Robert Mabe.
Andre Chavez in the 15 out of Boca Raton, Florida, rookie competitor here at Bowman Gray Stadium this year, will round out the starting grid when one of those Sanders prepared mini stock style machines. All right, we were told one to go, but it looks like the yellow is waving once again. We'll take at least one more lap here to get kick-started here. And I want to talk a little bit about the number 24 car of A.J. Sanders, a 5-time champion of stadium stock action here at this racetrack. He is on a heck of a streak right now, 28 straight races with a top 5 finish. That ain't too shabby for the kingpin of mini stock racing around the Carolinas.
I love that you referred to it as a kingpin. It just reminded me of that movie.
I was thinking more of bowling, but I like
And
the
that
movie
too.
Yes. Here we go. As we mentioned, Lightning McQueen, Levi Holt leading the field to the green flag for the final race of the night, and he grabs that top spot as Sidney Sanders struggles on the initial restart. Oh, and Sanders going to go around in turn number 1. We got calamity down in 1 and 2. Cars all over the place in this one, including, you see, the number 5 car of Connor Keaton. Looked like a dirt late model, right? He is actually up on the hood of A.J. Sanders. That streak might be coming to an end here tonight at 28 straight races with a top 5 run. Sanders, the perennial favorite for the championship here, with major damage to the front end of that race car.
Wow. It looks like we got a sandwich here, and it's not the one that you like. The 24 with quite substantial damage here. We'll see if we can get a replay in just a little bit, but they're going to try to get the drivers out of their car.
Connor Keaton is out. A.J. Sanders actually is out of the car. Connor Keaton is still in there talking to the officials. Sidney Sanders can't climb out of her car because she's got another car on top of her door, basically. So a lot of crazy stuff going on down here in the opening laps of this stadium stock race. So let's take a look at what happened on this initial start. It all started with Sidney Sanders in that pink car not getting the good start. And then she comes down the track a little bit and some contact right there. And then the rest is history. Poor A.J. Sanders had the underside of Connor Keaton. That's the good view that he has right now on the racetrack.
Yeah, you can see she kind of comes down just a little bit, gets a shot from behind, gets her sideways. And she was a little bit off the race pace there, so I think it just made everyone pile up, and now we have this situation.
And it looked like Peanut Baker was involved in there in that black 22 car as well. So while they clean this up, let's take a break. We're not going to miss any of the racing action and some, conversation right now with A.J. Sanders and some of the other drivers out there trying to sort out what happened in turn number 1, the final race of the night at Bowman Stadium. We'll be right back. Not a big surprise to have a big one at Bowman Stadium, but what we just witnessed was tow truck Jenga down in the corner. 4 different cars involved, including Sidney Sanders, Connor Keaton, Brandon Krotz, as well as the 24 of A.J. Sanders. Now, Justin Mincy, who's like our big expert up here in the booth, thinks that maybe, just maybe, the 5 of Connor Keaton will be okay. I believe that he might be. A.J. Sanders was looking up underneath that car, and it appears like it's okay. But the question is, and Justin, Jacqueline, thinks that A.J. Sanders might be able to continue. We take a look at it here. Let's watch the damage. It started with Sidney Sanders getting sideways, and then everybody gets collected down there in the corner. So a big melee down there. Peanut Baker making contact down there in the corner with Sidney Sanders, and the rest was history. A.J. Sanders is getting pushed right now, by the way, from our vantage point, but here you see the craziness go on, and Sanders just drove right up underneath of the 5 of Connor Keaton. Woo! Tough break.
My concern would be that there was some fluid that they were putting, kitty litter down on, and I don't know if that came from the the radiator of the 24 or something else, because he was like a ramp. Like the car just ramped over him. They're pushing him off right now. And maybe it's repairable to send him back out, but it was hard to tell from AJ's face which direction that was going to go. And you'll see a roll of duct tape was used to fix the nose of that car.
How many times in your racing career did your dad have to use that 200-mile-per-hour duct tape?
Oh yeah, the duct tape always comes in handy, especially when you got fenders. In late model racing, you've got to have some good duct tape. Well, now in North Carolina, everybody's so fancy, they have the big strips that they'll just stick right on.
The Bear Bond type.
The Bear Bond type of tape. But this is a good old-fashioned roll that they used on the front of that 11 right there.
Glossy too, by the way.
Yeah, it's fancy. It's not even matte,
Listen, maybe to get out of that fender stuff, maybe you should climb behind the wheel of a modified.
I
did.
Old
Nerf ball. You did?
I did drive one. I drove Tim Brown's.
Oh, I didn't know that,
yes.
honestly.
Yeah.
That's pretty
well,
cool.
Technically it was Jeremy Gersner's, but yeah.
Okay.
But I did drive it here. I did. I was surprised at how grippy it was.
Okay.
It's fast here,
Yeah.
Bowman Gray.
Did you break it loose?
Oh
coming
yeah,
off at turn 4?
I spun out. I spun out in turn 3.
Hey, listen,
a
Steve
few laps
Park.
in.
You remember Steve Park, NASCAR Cup Series winner? I got behind the wheel of a race car, and he watched me race back at Riverhead, and I spun out. I got up to 5th and spun out. He goes, Bob, the only way you know you're going fast enough is to actually spin out, and then you can back up the corner a little bit. Yes,
100%. And they told me, they were like, yeah, take a couple laps to get up to speed. I think I took one, and then I was like, all right, let's lay it down, and you're gonna get a little sideways at that point, but you love it. These things are fast and ground pounders. 1 to go now is being shown for this stadium stock division.
Are you practicing your Lightning McQueen lines? Like, ka-chow. No? Come on. Levi Holt is in the lead here with
You're really showing your dad jokes now.
I am.
Here we go. You're morphing into Matt closer and closer as the night goes on with the dad puns.
I'm sure he's listening too. So I think we got slap happy a little bit, up here. But having a good time. We hope you're having a good time. We're at Bowman Gray Stadium tonight. How can you not have a good time? The only thing that I'm disappointed with this entire night is I've had fun with you in the booth, Jacqueline, but no little donuts. And that's what I'm bummed about.
I heard you put an order in.
I did. Cinnamon sugar.
And was it your job?
It was Luke's job. And he didn't come
Luke's
through.
saying it was Justin's job. Somebody was supposed to get the donut orders, and it couldn't have been us.
And you were going to have one, right?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
You can't help it. They're small and addictive, and delicious.
Yes, and that's just one of the things that you can enjoy. Jacqueline had an icy earlier today, just prior to coming on the air.
And a hot dog. I had a little bit of help with the sweet. It was a good time. I like to evaluate the options of the concessions here at Bowman Gray. They have great concession stands, but we also had, some Italian ice out there. We had some snow cones, which I typically go for a snow cone.
Corn on the cob I saw they're selling here with that big fluffy guy.
Mm-hmm. Freeze-dried candies. I have visited those and have invested into the Skittles and many other
What haven't
ventures.
you actually tried here? That's the question.
I haven't had the nachos here.
Okay. I've had the nachos. They're
Are
not
they good?
bad. Yeah, they're not bad. Better than the burger, I will say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I've had everything else, the chicken tenders and I typically go for a sweet though. Like I have something before I get here to work and then I'm like, all right, I need a little bit of sugar to get before I get on this broadcast and talk about race cars.
Hey, listen, especially when you do the broadcast with my brother, Matthew. I mean, he loves Bowman Gray Stadium so much. And he is just so passionate. I love listening to him because he brings that passion, not just the love of racing, but the passion for the people of Bowman Gray Stadium. And that's what really makes him special. He's enjoying a night with his family, and we miss him up here. But at the same time, it's just an honor for me to be up in the booth working with you and Matthew watching and texting me, left and right, about certain things and texting Justin as well. So, it's neat because he's away from the racetrack, yet he and his son Hudson are watching the racing at the track that they love on Flow Sports.
I love it, as you have a son sitting right behind you watching as well. We talked about the family atmosphere, but it's cool when you guys can do it together and it overlaps into sharing the same love of something and getting to be a part of it.
Yeah. My other son is at Orange County Speedway.
Blaze?
With the Cars Tour, Blaze. And Luke Baldwin, by the way, with the big win in the Pro Late Models tonight. The third-generation racer. His granddad, the Tiger Tom, was a legendary modified racer. And then Tommy, a veteran wrench in so many different forms of racing. Daytona 500 winning crew chief. And Luke Baldwin, not only a really good modified racer, the Smart Champion last year, but also winning in the Pro Late Model ranks in the Cars Tour, which is really very competitive, through the last couple of years, but especially this season.
Oh yeah, I love it for Luke Baldwin, a young up-and-comer, and going to have many more wins in his future. And to round out the results on the Cars Tour tonight, Orange County in that late model stock division, Jared Fryer took home the win, the only driver to have both a super and a late model stock championship in that series, closing it up at Orange County. He's always been really good there, so it's great to see him. Tony White, who was a spotter, often spots here at Bowman Gray tonight, but decided to take the weekend off and head over to Orange County and spot for Jared, and guess what? He made the right decision because they took home the win.
Jacqueline Drake bringing it tonight here with the information. The 5 of Connor Keaton, by the way, is back in this field. We'll see if he can climb back through the field, but Levi Holt coming back to the green here, Bowman Gray, with just 1 lap complete.
That Ka-chow down in turn 1 and 2 going to be of good advantage with the 71 piling a little bit further back with second, third, fourth place with a blanket. The number 1 going to look to that inside.
A contrast in body styles there as Grayson Keaton goes to second, and then Michalowski to third, but that 71 car of James Allison, old school mini stock style race car, right? We go a little bit back further in the field, and there is the car of Connor Keaton trying to work his way through the field, and back up front, Levi Holt still holding it down. Still a long way to go in this one, and honestly, Grayson Keaton's got a very fast race car. They call him the Slim Reaper, and he's on the attack here tonight.
Yeah, you can see he's truly dialed in and not going to waste any time, although it looked like he locked the brakes up just a little bit as he was sliding. Is he going to make the contact now? And he does to the back of that 95 and get around. It got him a little bit loose, but it wasn't enough. But watch out, because here comes third place close by.
Michalowski is there, almost side by side. Now they are for the lead. Here comes Keaton to the inside. He slides it sideways. And Lightning McQueen goes from first to third. Levi Holt back to third.
But Michalowski's not going to let that lead go away too quick. He's going to look to the inside of Keaton and take the lead that time. 60 leading over the 1.
Keaton's not done, though. Not done at all. Right there in the back bumper, but Keaton's car kind of four-wheel slide in the center of the corner.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of handling problems. You can see it kind of right there is when it's sliding. The 60, though, going to take advantage. They're already to the back of the field. Lap traffic is going to affect them. Shot from behind the number 1. Woo, thought it was going to take Michalowski out.
Yes, Keaton got into Michalowski, and now Sidney Sanders, the slower car, collects the leader. Michalowski into the pink car and out of the lead here in the Stadium Stock feature number 2.
Bob, I got to pick my jaw up off the floor. I was not expecting that. Wow.
You look like you're in a state of disbelief right now.
Oh, we've got feelings. Unbelievable. And you know what? When you're the leader and you have that happen with a lap car, heartbreak.
And it was 2 cars that Michalowski actually had to get around in 1 lap. The second one right here being Sidney Sanders, and I could see what Michalowski was thinking there. It looked like Sidney was going to push high, but it really was, it's honestly, the job of Sidney to pick the low line as a slower car or go high, and that's what the difficult part was. We're 1 to go until we go green once again, but just a bad break for Michalowski. Gets taken out of the lead here with still plenty of laps left in this one. That damage to the front end of the 5 car of Connor Keaton is what you were seeing. The other Keaton, Grayson Keaton, having a good run, even though he's got damage as well.
Michalowski has exited the track as well. Must have sustained a lot of damage there.
By the way, pretty impressive run. Connor Keaton back to third coming to this restart. So the Keatons, first and third, coming back to the green. Grayson able to take that top spot. Levi Holt is in second. And then there's Connor Keaton in that third spot. I love, with 5 laps to go, there's Michalowski coming back out to the racetrack. Man, that was a close call right there. But I love these stadium stocks with the dirt late model style bodies.
Yes, I love the way that number 5 car looks, and Connor Keaton going to make his way into that second position. It looks like the caution flag has flown.
And I think it was for Michalowski, honestly. I think what I saw out of the corner of my eye was Michalowski was coming on the racetrack, jammed on the brakes, right? Might have stalled that car out. And he was sitting right there on the exit coming onto the racetrack, and that's why the caution was thrown. That was from the other incident.
Yeah,
that front damage.
I know, I was just about to say that fender, you can see the damage right there. He's going to scrub the tires to see. It's like, yeah, man, you got a problem up in the right front. As we say all this, though, we are 11 laps in and 4 laps to go with the number 1 of Grayson Keaton leading the way. We have Levi Holt behind him, Lightning McQueen, and the number 5 of Connor Keaton, who's quick, although has the looks of an antenna coming off of the hood of that car. He's fast, though. He got 3rd place last week, sitting in another podium spot this week, even despite the damage and the Jenga situation we had in turns 1 and 2. He has recovered quite well here.
Plenty of fun during the second stadium stock race here tonight. And back to green we go. The one of Grayson Keaton leads. Levi Holt in second. 3rd is Connor Keaton in that number 5 car. Back to 4th is the 71 of James Allison. And then the number 2 of Carson Reed, rounding out the top 5 with just a handful of laps to go.
Grayson Keaton continuing to lead the charge with Connor Keaton hoping to look to the inside and gain that second position. Looks underneath Levi Holt. Will he complete the pass? And he does. Clean and green now in P2 Keaton and Keaton.
But Connor Keaton might need a yellow to have a shot at this one here, because Grayson Keaton, with 1 lap to go, has the lead and about a 10-car length lead here. So those dirt late model looking stadium stocks here running very well at Bowman Gray Stadium. Levi Holt in the 3rd spot. Tonight, it's the Slim Reaper going back to victory lane in the stadium stocks at Bowman Gray Stadium. Grayson Keaton out of Mocksville, North Carolina, celebrating his victory, the 14th of his career here at the stadium.
Grayson Keaton sure had things go his way tonight with Brad Michalowski falling out. It was no feat for him to continue to lead the charge over this field for the Stadium Stock Division 2nd feature race of tonight.
And from what I saw, it looked like Levi Holt winds up in the 3rd spot. We mentioned Connor Keaton in that 2nd spot. James Allison in 4th. Hard to tell after that, after everybody scrambles on the back. But Grayson Keaton, we mentioned his 14th career win, which surpasses his dad Jason for 11th in the Stadium Stock Series. That's courtesy of Justin Mincy.
We got a Flow Racing replay right here for the checkered flag. There it flies. Keaton and Levi Holt, the rest of the field to follow. And the final checkered flag of the evening falls, and you'll see right there, Sanders continuing to have some issues. Sydney Sanders down into the green after the checkered. But Grayson Keaton's going to make his way to victory lane as his family and team will join to celebrate him. The number 1, bottoms up, it's Grayson Keaton.
So Grayson Keaton going to climb out victorious here again for the 14th time in his career. Let's go trackside to hear some from our winner.
Keaton team crew members. The Slim Reaper getting unbuckled. Let him hear it, folks. Grayson Keaton. Grayson, folks with Flow Racing want to see you up there. I believe this is win number 14 in your career, I think, if I'm right.
Yeah, we had a good car, and thing really come to life. We did a lot of work last night. Appreciate Dad, Connor, everybody, Braxton, Zach, Trent, Big Red, Andrew, Lyle, Mason, Seth, anybody right that helps out on this car. I would love to tell you about the race, but I'm going to announce my sponsors. Sure. Magic Pools and Spas, Carter Installation, Electroforce, Izzy Babe, Davy Junk Removal, Outwood Farms, Mobile Communications, Hair by Ash, Cozarts, Osborne Tire and Auto, Eveready Mix of Concrete, Farmington Muffler, S&P, Locketta, Gunner's Diesel, Farmington Road Wrecker, Hillbed Creations, New River Welding and Rigging, McCoy Tree, Bottoms Up Tumblers, Hick Land Management, D&M Farms, Willow Pavement, Wincon, Carolina Fire, Garage Doors of Tri, Lefford Electric, The Loft on Sunflower Trail, Old Classics, Unlimited Landscaping, Veteran Renovation, RFS, CNS Machine Shop, Moxville Concrete, White Grade, Slick Bank, Clemens Lawnmower, Hendricks Painting, Chilton HVAC, Blakely, I'm almost done, Kaylin Johnson, Lexi, Molly Canal, Hair by Carm, Lindsay, 101, Shores Plumbing, and Woodson Landscaping.
Grayson, it's wonderful to have all those sponsors. I don't know what's more of the workout. Holding off Brad McLowski and the rest of the crew are reading your list of sponsors. I know it's great to have all those sponsors there.
I couldn't do it with every single one of them. Thank you, guys.
Grayson Keaton, race fans, picks up his 14th career win.
And he mentioned every single sponsor, so they should be happy with him. By the way, got to have a shout out here to our Flow Racing crew here today. Great job, Aaron and Elgin on our cameras, and then everybody back in Charlotte and here as well. Lucas Kaler, Hope, Q, Hurricane Herrera, Strickert, Chuck, Justin, and more. Thank you so much. Obviously, a lot coming up on the NASCAR regional slate. Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, May 3rd. I'm looking towards the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. I love myself some Mighty Modifieds at Monadnock Speedway. The Mad Dog on May 3rd. Of course, the big 100-lap race here for the NASCAR Modifieds at Bowman Stadium. And then my home track, the season opener for the 75th season at Riverhead Raceway on May 10th, and also Autodrome Granby as well up there in Canada on May 16th. So plenty of racing action to go. Jacqueline, we had a great time here tonight. Saw some crazy and very competitive racing at the stadium.
We sure did. And man, oh man, it was not without a lot of action and a lot of drama. The race winners for tonight, though, in the first modified feature, Brandon Ward going back to back. And in the second feature, Jason Myers, that battle between him and Riley Neal, it's going to be ingrained in my brain for a very long time. The Sportsman division in the first feature, we saw Zach Orr take the win, followed by Dylan Ward, who was very shocked to be able to close that win out when he originally just wanted to start and park that car. The street stock winner, Brian Sykes Jr., and the stadium stock winners tonight, Brandon Brindle, and who we just heard from, Grayson Keaton.
Congratulations to all those winners on night number 2 of NASCAR racing at Bowman Gray Stadium. So, for Jacqueline Drake, I'm Bob Dillner. Man, we had a blast here at the Madhouse here tonight. So much racing. We'll see you next week on Flow Racing.
Transmitted or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.